Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Majin Slayer here for you guys, and today it's going to be a really long video. I have for you guys the top 8 cut of the Fam Night players that made it to top 8 for the Dragon Rider Games tournament that occurred over the weekend. Be sure to go ahead and check out Dragon Rider Games. I'll leave a link to the Facebook group down below in the description. I myself was interested in playing in the tournament, but I haven't been live streaming enough rated or practicing on rated for that matter for these past couple months, especially post boat. I really haven't been practicing on rated, so I didn't really feel comfortable um, doing in a tournament like this. And plus, I wasn't really feeling the best either over this weekend, so or the last few months really. But a little bit off topic there. And remember, go and check out the July_TCG Discord server. Really nice place to do some remote duels, dueling book, practice, get feedback on deck lists, or just to come and hang out. So this is going to be top 8. And then we have 2 players actually that made it to the top 8 cut playing Phantom Knights. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over all of their replays. So let's go ahead and get started. I believe they're speaking Greek. We're going to go ahead and see the blue player win. Opening hands are going to be Italy, Droplet, Living Fossil, Nibiru, and Gloves. Just one sec. Sorry about that. So has one going second card. No, two, sorry. Two going second card plus a Fam Night name plus an extender. So definitely really nice. And this can also function as an extender. Once they get a monster into the graveyard, then the Sky Striker player opens up with Widow Anchor, Eagle Booster, Shared Ride, TC Boo, Imperm. So really, they don't have a way to get their Sky Striker engine going because they don't open up a way to get to Ray or a way to get to Rose, like maybe an Era Zero Prosperity. So they're really just relying on their floodgate of TC Boo and then maybe drawing something once the Fam Night player starts searching. That's 4 and pass. Keep the Eagle Booster in hand to try to bluff a nib. So they're going to start off with Italy. Italy bring out the Psychic Tracker, normal summon out Ragged Gloves. Overlay those into the Break Sword. Break Sword, go ahead and poke. Main phase 2, go into a Downerd, go into a Zeus. So it does play around TC Boo very well here. Go ahead, Imperm the Zeus. Go ahead, chain Widow Anchor. Go ahead, Ragged Gloves effect. Go ahead, tag out for Boots, then Shared Ride. In response to Boots, go ahead, search out the Shade Brigandine. Go ahead, Shade Brigandine, bring itself out since he has no traps. Draws into an Effect Veiler. Oh, that's going to be big. You can go ahead, bust out the Psychic Tracker, turn the Psychic Tracker and the Link Spider into the Verte Anaconda. Verte Anaconda effect, go ahead, dump Fusion Destiny, go ahead, chain the Effect Veiler. Maybe it was worth it to play around that was to link off the Zeus and the Link Spider, and then if they negate the Verte, you can go ahead and Living Fossil, bring out the you still have the Downerd Magician brought out by Living Fossil, but you're giving up a pretty decent body on the board in a simplified game state, so just another lineup play they could have done, but I understand like the reasoning as to why they don't want to give up the Zeus. Go ahead, pass, top decks into the Ash Blossom, goes ahead, pass his turn, then go ahead and try the Verte Anaconda effect. Okay, yeah, since you run multiple Fusion Destinies, since it's not it's unlimited, so yep, that's fair. Keep Verte Anaconda on board to see if they can get rid of it or put pressure on them to out it, so that way you don't do it again. But they're just going to scoop there. Moving on to game 2, we have DDR, Imperm, Torn Scales, Boots, Imperm. So this is really nice. 2 going second cards plus your best opening combo, which is Torn Scales plus Boots. Also Gloves plus Boots also works depending on the scenario. But wow, this is really nice opening hand in a 50 card deck. Also forgot to say the deck sizes, sorry, 41 versus 50, and then Effect Veiler, Rose, Dasher, Called By, and Sky Striker Area 0. So now they have a way to get their Sky Striker engine going with access to their Link monsters. So you're just going to head normal summon out Rose, go into Shizuku, set the Called By the Grave, Shizuku effect, go ahead, imperm that, go ahead and pass. They top deck into a Pog Blade, Go ahead, normal summon out Torn Scales. Touch summon out the boots. Go ahead, share Beanie. Go ahead, dump the graph. Graph effect. Go ahead and bring out the seer. Go ahead, boots effect. Search out wing. Okay, so they probably want it as discard fodder. Or want to use the wings as discard fodder for the DDR in case if they get Nibiru'd. Go ahead and use Thorns of Scales effect. Go ahead, chain called by. Go ahead, link summon Rusty into the arrow Shizuku points to. Go ahead, bring out the Shirabini. Yeah, this is actually really nice here because Rusty has a arrow that points to the right. Normally people like to special themselves out in the areas in the EMZ, but it's nice to take advantage of your opponent's monsters that way because it'll help you better set up your link summoning. Go ahead, DDR, discard wing. Go ahead, bring back out the Torn Scales. Go ahead, link Shirabini, Torn Scales into the Verte Anaconda effect. Go ahead, dump Fusion Destiny. Go ahead, dump the package. Go into the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Then Rusty effect to poke into the Shizuku. Verte poke. Destroy Phoenix Enforcer attack as well. Goes ahead, sets the Imperm, set the Pog Blade pass. Top decks into the Fusion Destiny. Really big top deck right there. Go ahead, dump the bricks. Go ahead, bring out the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Go ahead, attack it over the Rusty. Then DP effect, chain Pog Blade. And yeah, they just want to go ahead and see if they would negate it or not because the Fan Knight player had a lot of follow-up to do so, such as just going into Nightmare Unicorn, spin back the DP, and then they have a Celestial Draw, Dasher effect, special summon if they top deck into a monster. So we're gonna go ahead and see Fan Knights dominate that match 2-0. See what any watchers say. Okay, I don't really know what they're saying, but I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to the next replay. It is going to be another top 8 match, different player though. We have You Broke My Heart going up against Maybe It's Destiny. You guys might be familiar with him. He's been on a couple of DB Grinder Dueling Book replays. You're going to see Maybe It's Destiny win the RPS there. Let's see 43 versus 60. So, forgot to select this, but we're going to see opening hands are Ash Blossom, Gamma, Quick Launch, Nibiru, Gamma. So they have a starter with the Rocket Tracer. Then they open up like 4 going second cards. Insane. Then we have Itelli, Jump Forward, Denier, Lancia, Rhoda. So gotta hate to see one of the bricks in your, especially in a 60 card deck. But it does have a Lancia though, which can put in quite a bit of amount of work. They have a way to get to a Phantom Knight name, and then 2 generic extenders. Ooh, and they're just going to go ahead and shotgun the Lancia on standby phase, and that's going to go ahead and bring out the Gamma. Yeah, the Lancia would have been quite effective if he decided to hold it, because it would have slowed him down from getting recursion with the black and white dragon, as well as possibly but he's going to go ahead and search out with the turn the Rocket Tracer right out by Quick Launch into the Striker Dragon, the Striker Dragon effect, add Boot Sector Launch. Go ahead, turn those into the Chaos Ruler. Go ahead, Chaos Ruler, add the Chamber Dragon Maid. Oh, and they're also going to mill the Starleaf Safer, Absorouter, Chaos Space, Lancia. So those are pretty strong cards right there. If I knew what you were on, I probably would have held, but I didn't. I think when it comes to like online tournaments and this kind of stuff, I think you should definitely check out if anybody is streaming the event, or if like, if it's something like luxury, or like maybe a Yu-Gi-Oh content creator. Definitely if you have a day 2 and you made it to day 2, definitely see what everyone else played on there, or maybe ask like one of your friends who also played what a player who made it to Top Cut was playing, so that way you're kind of prepared for going up against them, and like whether or not to shotgun, things like that. like your Lancia and standby phase, for example. You're going to turn those into the Romulus effect. Go ahead and add Dragon Ravine. Go ahead, Chamber Dragon Maid effect. Go ahead, search out the Tiding. Go ahead, turn those into the Heretic Seal of Spears. Then Boot Sector Launch effects. Go ahead, bring out the Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer, pop the Boot Sector Launch. Bring out the Recharger. Go ahead, turn those two in the Borreload Savage Dragon. Go ahead, Dragon Ravine. Discard the Gamma. Go ahead, banish. Add the Livineer. So it could have stopped like a Chaos Dragon Livineer had he held the Lancia for something like that. Or the Black and White Dragon engine, like I stated before. Said hit the bad one, please. Wants him to put back the brick. And he did. He said appreciate it. Go ahead and activate Quick Launch since it's not a hard once per turn. Go ahead and brings out the Rocket Synchron. Goes ahead, banishes, brings out the Chaos Ruler. Go ahead, turn those into the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Sets the Tiding. So Droplet, let's go. So we can see he plays multiple jump forward. This isn't too entirely uncommon. A lot of people just I've seen some topping deck lists from earlier in the format. I think there was like a guy who got top 8 in a 3v3 Colorado tournament who played multiple jump forward. Just because it's so free, just special summon it and it's not a hard once per turn. Just to beat over stuff like the Heretic Seal of Spears, like I always advise people. But he's still gonna have to play through like 3 other interruptions plus his high impact hand traps. Go ahead, Spears effect, bring out the Safer. Go ahead, special summon out jump forward again. Go for E-Telly. You go ahead and Ash Blossom the E-Telly. Go ahead, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, negate the Rhoda. And then we'll summon jump forward and admit defeat. Not much you could do right there. I mean, play through so much on-field interruption and then 2 hand traps in hand. So we're going to go on to game 2 here. We're going to go and see maybe it's Destiny open up with Chaos Space, Quick Launch, Starlight Safer, Chaos Space, and Red Reboot. So this is going to be effective. One high impact going second card, especially all the Pog Blades, depending on how much he decides to go for. They're going to go ahead and see him open up with Jump Forward, Danger Snake, Pot of Prosperity, Ash Blossom, Living Fossil. So this works. The Pot of Prosperity can help him get into a Phantom Knight name to help him better play through hand traps like a possible nib. Okay, and he does see a Phantom Knight name. You see that he sees Ragged Gloves, the most diverse starter out of all the Phantom Knight names in my opinion. Just because of how it can change into any type of name while it's in the graveyard. Act as like a cloak, acts as a boots, etc. Go ahead, special summon out, jump forward, normal summon out, Ragged Gloves. Go ahead, set a card to play around Gamma. Go ahead, dump Graph, bring out Seer. Turn those 2 into the Rusty Bardiche. Then Seer, bring out Cherubini. Rusty effect, go ahead, dump Ancient Cloak, set the Shade Brigandine. Ancient Cloak, go ahead, add back the Boots. Special summon out Boots. You want to do that there because in case if you went Shade Brigandine first and if they had Nib, well, you don't really have any recursion in graveyard to tag out Gloves for like a Torn Scales and some other PK names to trigger its effect. So it's good that he did that there because in case if he nibs him when he decides to bring out the Shade Brigandine, well then he'll have the Boots in the graveyard and then Torn Scales be tagged out for Ragged Gloves. Or Ragged Gloves tag out for Torn Scales, sorry. Let's see what he decides to do here, if he goes for Appaloosa or not. He's going to go in for Living Fossil instead. Go ahead, turn those into the Lightsworn Dominion. Okay, so basically, he's deciding that, okay, my opponent, if he had Nib, he would have nibbed me there. Because that's already, you know, a Link 2 plus 2 other monsters. So instead, he's going to go for this combo. So go ahead and send 1 card from his deck to the graveyard. He's going to send Imperial Order. And a card is sent from your deck to graveyard by an effect. Send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So he's gonna go ahead and send the Shade Brigandine, the Pogblade, the Danger Jackalope. Goes ahead, Nightmare Griffin. I have never seen this be played in a Phantom Knights list. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, sorry. But if this card is Link Summon, you can discard one card, then target one spell and trap in your graveyard, send it to your field. You know, I think I saw like I don't know who name it was, but he showed off a combo where you can search Imperial Order with this specific combo. I'm surprised he's running into Phantom Knights. I'd never seen it used before in Phantom Knights, to be honest with you. Go ahead. Gloves, tag out for the Torn Steels, like I mentioned before. Then Ragged Glove, or Fog Blade, sorry. Bring out the pop of Boots. Then Torn Steels, bring itself out. Go ahead, Levier. Bring out the Ragged Gloves. Then Boots effect to search for a Pog Blade. Then go ahead, turn those into a Dagda. Then Torn Skills, discard Pog Blade, Chain Dagda, set the site. Go ahead, dump a Wing. Go ahead, Wings, bring out the Ragged Gloves. I'm going to go ahead and turn those into the Verte. Oh, so he's out of Xyz monsters. Yeah, I mean, he's only down to like 2 cards in his extra deck. Yep, and then he's just going to go ahead and admit defeat. He had the red reboot for the Pog Blades and the Imperial Order, but he just can't avoid being Scythe locked. He didn't have an out to it. So to save time, he's just going to go ahead and go and scoop it up. I wonder how much time has passed. So 26 minutes. So they are using the 40-minute time plus turn 0, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 rules in this tournament, just in case for anyone who's watching doesn't know. So opening hands are going to be Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, Imperm, Summon Limit, Absol Dragon, and White Dragon. So they do not open up combo whatsoever, but they do have the Floodgate and the Imperm. Then opening hands for the Phantom Knight players is going to be Pot of Prosperity, Tour Guide, Dark Ruler, Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler. Wow, so double Dark Ruler in a 60-card list. That's insane. That is insane. It opens up a starter too. Starter and like 3 going second cards. So even if they had maybe something like a Solemn Judgment for the Dark Ruler, you'd still just have another one. That is insane. Lightning Storm, hit the back row. Go ahead, Prosperity. Let's go for 6. Okay, goes for 6. Because ahead we see Droll and Lockbird, Droplet, Mystic Mine, Jump Forward, Danger Rabbit, Boots. You know, I think J. White Sharif popularized the usage of Mystic Mine in Phantom Knights, because I've seen a lot more Phantom Knights lists that decide to either main deck or side deck the Mystic Mine, because basically you bait out most of your opponent's interruptions, and then when you're ready to commit to the board and start and get ready to kill your opponent, you go either into like a Downward Zeus combo to board wipe, so you out your own Mystic Mine and then regain control of the game, or you go ahead and like sit on DPE, play DPE control, tag in, tag out until you're ready. So this might become more of like a trend in Phantom Knights. It's just something that I've been seeing like little by little ever since J.A. Sharif did well on his Phantom Knights list. Go ahead, special summon out, jump forward, normal summon out, tour guide. And they're just going to go ahead and scoop it up. They don't want to waste time being full comboed. Understandable, you know. They've been probably through a long day, through Swiss. And they're just going to go ahead and admit defeat, saying, yeah, I'm out of it. It's been a long weekend. So, to each his own. Let's go ahead. Tab out. Okay, so now we are in the top 4 match, actually. And they got paired up together. So, a little bit unfortunate. I wish they would have not gotten paired up together so I could go over another match. But it is what it is. I think Phantom Knight mirrors are honestly one of the best mirrors to watch. It's not as boring as something like a Drytron mirror where you either open a full combo or you don't. I feel like the Phantom Knight mirrors are definitely more skillful, a lot more wild from what I've usually experienced or seen, just by my personal opinion. Yep, so looks like they're chatting with each other. So they don't know what deck they're on. That's interesting. So we're gonna go ahead and see opening hands are Droll, Lightning Storm, Ash, Malicious, and Junk Forward. So he's 3 going second cards. Really nice. Maybe he's playing like 3 Lightning Storm, 3 Droll, 3 Ash Blossom is what I would guess maybe his ratios are to see it this often in a 60 card list. And then Kurt Cobain is going to go ahead and open up with Danger Snake, Living Fossil, DDR, Ragged Gloves, and Kagamuchanite. So he opens up one of the best starters and an extended skill along with it. So this is definitely full combo. A route plays around Nibiru, and it guarantees him a Verte Anaconda if you guys don't know about that combo already. It looks like you figure out you are the 60 card PK guy. Gotta turn those into the Cherubini effect to mill graph effects. Go ahead and Ash Blossom that. Go ahead, tag it out for Cloak, special summon out Boots, or no, add Boots, sorry. Go ahead, Living Fossil. Go ahead, bring out Graph. Go ahead, turn those into the Rusty Bardiche. Rusty effect. Go ahead, dump Torn Skills, set Pogblade. Go ahead, DDR. Discard the Snake. Really good discard right there. Bring out the gloves. Then Snake effect. Bring itself out. Go ahead, turn those into Levier. Then revive the Ancient Cloak. Special summon out Boots. Turn those into a Break Sword. Then Rusty pop the Break Sword. Break Sword. Bring out the Ancient Cloak and the Regular Gloves. Ancient Cloak effect to boost the Rusty. Turn those into the Verte Anaconda. So wants to leave the Levier here, where in case he doesn't out it, he's going to have pressure for follow-up. Just basically more recycling, especially if he brings back out the Graph, because Graph, go ahead and blow itself out, bring out Seer, and then bring out Link 2 and Cherubini, which is pretty nice. I used to do that quite a bit back when I played the rank up version of this deck, and you just banish Seer for cost, and then later go into Levier, then bring back out the Seer, and then go into Link 2 with Cherubini. So we're going to go ahead and pass on the DP, Pogblade, and if the Pogblade falls off, they're going to go ahead and use the Break Sword Rusty Pop interruption. So we have really loaded graveyard right here with all 4 names. We're going to go ahead and top deck into a Graph. Go ahead, Lightning Storm, hit the Pogblade, summon out Junk Forward, normal summon out the Malicious, and he's going to let him at defeat. Drew Graph return. The Burning Abyss loves you. Sometimes side out Graph and Seer going second. Yeah, that's actually a side decking habit that I think more people should try out to help have better going second hands. Because you already play maybe an Isold package, the Fusion Destiny package, and you're typically going into like a Break Sword into a Zeus to break boards or your own DP, and you'd rather just see like going second cards than to like try to break a board and unbrick your Graph and Seer at the same time. So that's definitely understandable. But opening hands for game 2 are going to be Droplet, Psychic Wielder, Imperm, Junk Forward, and Imperial Order. So pretty decent, pretty decent. Then we have the, but no Phantom Knight name though to play around Nibiru, which we can see that he has. Kurt Cobain has Nibiru, Rhoda, Psychic Wielder, Torn Scales, and Kagamuchanite. Go ahead, special summon out Junk Forward, special summon out Wielder. Go ahead, Cherubini. Go ahead, set the Imperm. Go ahead and play around Ghost Ogre or a Cyframe Gamma. Graph effect, bring out the Seer. Go ahead, bring out the Cherubini. So he doesn't want to drop Nib here. The reason for that, in case if like You Broke My Heart opened up with a hard drawn Torn Scales, you won't just be able to like just go normal summon out Torn Scales, then like discard Droplets for costs and set a trap to go ahead and revive back the Rusty, so he wants them to commit a bit more. Go ahead, Ancient Cloak, set the Shade Brigandine, Ancient Cloak effect. He wants to wait and see to see if You Broke My Heart has a Phantom Knight name in hand or not. Go ahead. Twin Skills, discard the Droplets and the Gloves. Then go ahead, bring out the Shade Brigandine. Then on that summon, go ahead and use Nibiru, realizing that he doesn't have an extender in hand. Tribute all those away. Go ahead, take out the Ragged Gloves for a Boots. Go ahead, turn the token into the Link Spider. Link Spider and Twin Scales, link them off into the Verte. Verte effect. Go ahead, dump the Malicious and the Denier. So we can go ahead and see that both players are on the Denier and the Malicious packages. The least popular packages I've seen anybody play recently, but now at the DCS, I showcased someone off yesterday who got, I think, top 32 at the remote YCS. They played this package, and it's interesting that a lot more people are on this package this weekend. Turn those into the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Go ahead, boot, search out the Pog Blade, set Imperial Order, set the Pog Blade, then end phase. Go ahead, DP trade with the Nibiru. You're going to top deck into a Mystic Mine. Okay. Go ahead, Rhoda. Go ahead, chain Imperial Order to that. I was thinking about it because he didn't want to be punished by like maybe some spell and trap removal, like a chain Cosmic Cyclone or Twin Twisters. But they're really fortunate to have hard drawn that Imperial Order because that outs the Mystic Mine, which can be really annoying to deal with in Phantom Knights. Go ahead, normal summon out Torn Scales, chain Kagamucha Knight, DPE effect. Go ahead, pop Torn Scales. They want to do that because a lot of your generic extenders rely on having a level 3 monster out, so he doesn't want him to like go ahead and like special summon out something like a Boots to get some graveyard recursion, or just get out another level 3 body in general. And he also doesn't want him to go ahead and use the Torn Scales effect as well to go ahead and get some more Phantom Knight bodies into the graveyard. Go ahead, special summon out Wielder. Turn the Wielder and the Knight into Cherubini. Go ahead, dump Ancient Cloak. Search out Boots. Torn Scales effect to bring itself out. Go ahead, Torn Scales, discard Mystic Mine. Looks like he's thinking really hard here. Just gonna let that go through. So just summon out the Boots. I mean, considering how he discarded something really bad, I'd say it was worth negating, because then his only other options might have been to like go into Rusty or go into like maybe a Nightmare Unicorn, and he already used up like his Ancient Cloak effect to try to surge, so he's not adding anything like a Stained Underwear or anything like that. And the best he could do is maybe turtle up on like Pog Blades. I feel like the Torn Skills was definitely worth negating there. But he's already in an advantageous position with the Imperial Order, outing 2 of Kurt Cobain's cards in hand. So he's going to go ahead and Pog Blade the Levier. Go ahead, he's going to turn Cherubini and Levier into the Verte Anaconda. So he's going to go ahead and negate that. So negating that, he's still able to special summon though, since Verte's drawback of not being able to special summon for the rest of the turn is only applied when its effects resolve. Go ahead, Wings, revive back the Torn Scales since it's already used its effect to revive itself already. Go ahead, turn those into Rusty. Go ahead, dump Ancient Cloak, set Pog Blade, then Boots effect. Go ahead, search out Pog Blade, Rusty, poke into the Verte Anaconda. Then end phase, Pog Blade, revive Rusty. Go ahead, draws into the Wing. Ooh, not a good top deck. You really don't want to be drawing this card. Go ahead, DP comes back in standby phase. Then pay cost of Imperial Order. Good thing they remembered that. Then Pog Blade the Rusty effect. They're thinking though, considering if they want to chain DP, but they probably just have another Pog Blade there. Yep, so they want to bait out all the Pog Blade and interruptions, but they still have decent bodies to work with because they have run the Malicious package and the Denier. Go ahead, Malicious, banish Malicious, bring out Malicious from deck, the Denier, put back the Malicious. Go ahead, turn those into the Isold. Isold effect adds the Torn Scales. They want to get that into rotation. then go ahead, dump living fossil, such summon out Renaud effect, add living fossil, malicious, bring out malicious. Go ahead, turn those 4 into the Borosaur Dragon. Damn, it's usually Axis Kotaku we see, but now we see the Borosaur. Go ahead, gain the attack, and that is going to be exactly 3,000. Wow. But it's also gaining the attack, so it's a little bit more. But, yeah, so it gained the attack, so it technically was at 5,100, and they turned the DP into the defense position so it could attack again. So really nice, making sure that the Pod Blades didn't hit the graveyard so you could revive anything back to go ahead and not be OTK that turn. But we're going to go into game 3 here. Opening hand is going to be E-Telly, Fusion Destiny, Droplet, Lightning Storm, and Nibiru. So sees 3 going second cards, but no Fan Knight names yet, but does have kind of like a starter. Not really a starter, but like something to like give interruption and also follow up with the Fusion Destiny. And then Kurt Cobain has Torn Skills, Rhoda, Wings, Nibiru, and Droplet. So sees 2 going second cards. Go ahead, Rhoda. Go ahead, add Boots. So now he's got full combo here. Go ahead, normal summon out Torn Skills, summon out Boots. Torn Skills, discard Wing. Send the Ancient Cloak. Go ahead, turn those into the Cherubini. Go ahead, dump Graph. Graph effect, bring out the Seer. Go ahead, turn those 2 into the Rusty Bardiche. Seer effect to revive the Cherubini. Then Rusty effect. Go ahead, set Pogblade. And dump the Torn Scales. Yeah, so they're dumping another Torn Scales into the graveyard because they probably figure that in case they do have Nibiru, they still have a Torn Scales in graveyard for follow-up. Go ahead, Ancient Cloak effect, add the Shade Brigadine. Go ahead, revive out the Torn Scales. Then Shade Brigadine, bring itself out. Go ahead, yep, definitely want a Nibiru because he'll go into an Appaloosa if he doesn't, or has the option to at the very least. Go ahead, Boots, search out Pogblade. Then Torn Scales effect to bring itself out. This feels familiar. Yeah, common line of play. Yeah, opening up Torn Scales and Boots pretty much always nets you a Verte Anaconda through a Nibiru. Go ahead, turn those into Verte effect, bring out DP, pass turn, top decks into a Mystic Mine. Okay. Go ahead, draw phase Droplets, send Nibiru for cost. Choosing to negate the DP. Go ahead, Lightning Storm. Oh, damn. I'm sure you have Storm in your hand. Good intuition. Activates Mystic Mine. Now, you could sit on this, honestly, but you really shouldn't sit on this because your opponent is pretty much always going to side in Imperial Order against you. They're always going to get to an out eventually, so you definitely want to not sit on it the entire game. Go ahead, DP effect. Go ahead, pop itself and the opponent's DP, but he won't be able to trigger the DP graveyard effect because he controls more monsters. Then you broke my heart. Go ahead, DP effect on field, pop itself and the E-Telly so you can keep the Mystic Mine alive. Graveyard effects. Go ahead, bring out DP, DP, go ahead, pop itself. Okay, so he wants to chain to the effect. He wants to banish Denier, so they're still resolving the chain. Still wants to pop his own mine. So now they're at turn 0 now. I was thinking maybe he could sit on mine until time ran out, but put him on either you top deck the out or you don't, because now he was at 6,000 before, so he could have won that way as well as a alternative route. Go ahead, Rusty Bardiche effect. I'm checking to see if they have more targets. You've been through a Wing, Pogblade, the Shade, Pogblade. So if they run 3 Pogblades, they definitely do have one more target. They're gonna go ahead and Ash the Rusty here. Go ahead, Droplets, send Nibiru for cost. Go ahead, Celestial Effect. Draws into D-Barrier and Tour Guide. That's really good. Basically open up a starter plus a way to out the DPE. Go ahead, turn those into the Levier effect. Go ahead and bring out Ancient Cloak. Then Rusty attack into the DP because it is halved. Go ahead, poke directly with Ancient Cloak and Levier. Turn those into a Downward Zeus. Go ahead, Ancient Cloak to boost the Rusty. Then go ahead and pass turn. So they're thinking in draw phase before standby phase occurs, before the DP has a chance to bring itself out. Top decks into a dead Fusion Destiny. Unfortunate. Go ahead, Zeus effect. Good to go ahead and board wipe. And this is going to be turn 3, the final turn. So he has to kill him this turn because he's down by 850 life points, or else You Broke My Heart is going to win. Go ahead, Pog Blade, bring out Ragged Gloves. Go ahead, turn those into Break Sword. That Ragged Gloves gives the Break Sword 1000 extra attack points because it's a Dark Xyz monster. And yep, we're just going to go ahead and see Kurt Cobain win this one 2-1. So perhaps I should have left you behind mine. Yeah. Honestly, maybe it could have worked. But no, that was for the top 4. He says he's doing it for the BAs, not for PKs. Yeah, some people in chat were saying about how he's a pretty known Burning Abyss player. So, interesting that he comes to play this deck. But now we're going to go ahead and get to the finals right here. So this is for, I believe, $700 or so. So, a lot of money on the line. So, we're going to go ahead and see Zolika 18 versus Cobain. Oh, by the way, these guys already dueled each other in Swiss. I didn't really feel like going over that match. I was originally, but then they ended up playing each other for like the finals, so I figured that I might as well just leave the replay and description for you guys. I don't think like going over a Swiss round is kind of worth it. I'd rather just go over these top cut matches because it's just going to be like a repeat of what you already saw. So I just figured that this is kind of better to do since there are higher stakes on the line this time. But I'll leave a link to that replay in the description. So we're going to go ahead and see Zolko. They win the RPS. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Chose to go first. Yep, so Red won the RPS. They chose to go first. Opening hands are going to be Nibiru, Terraforming, Widow Anchor, Effect Veiler, and Nibiru. So it has a way to get to Ray or Rose right now, but technically it doesn't if this Terraforming gets interrupted. Then for the Famnight player, you have Tour Guide, Fusion Destiny, Double Boots, and the Droplet. So no going second card. Well, technically, yes, a going second card, but not a hand trap for the Sky Striker player to stop them from getting to like a Ray or Rose. Goes ahead, activates Terraforming. Go ahead, search out the Area 0. Go ahead, activates Area 0. Area 0 effect, go ahead, target the set Widow Anchor. Goes ahead and mills the multi-roll Rose Fusion Destiny. So they do see a starter. You can go ahead and add the multi-roll. Go ahead and sends the Widow Anchor multi-roll effect to go ahead and send the Area 0. Then Area 0 effect, go ahead and bring out Ray. Go ahead, turn the Ray into a Kagari. Kagari, go ahead and add back the Widow Anchor. Turn the Kagari into the Shizuku. End phase Shizuku effects. You're going to go ahead and add Engage. So ends on basically an in-archetype Chalice, Pot of Greed for follow-up next turn, because they do already have 2 spells in the graveyard. And then they have the Effect Veiler and Nibiru for hand trap interruptions. We're going to see them top deck into a Droll. Go ahead, normal summon out Boots. Special summon out of Boots. Yeah, you definitely would want to just go Boots into Boots because Sword Guide's going to lose to a single hand trap. So might as well go for the route that gives you the most graveyard recursion. Go ahead, turn those into Shirabini effect. Go ahead, dump Torn Scales. Go ahead, Boots effect to add. Go ahead, add Spog Blade. Go ahead, Torn Scales effect. Bring itself out. Go ahead, discard Tour Guide. So opts to not go for the BA. I'm guessing he wants to get more recursion out of the graveyard and get like a Torn Scales into circulation if he's not able to get it to the Rusty. Go ahead, turn those into the Rusty Bardiche. You're going to go ahead and decide to affect Valor, the Rusty Bardiche, on summon. So trying to play around droplets, because if they were to just go ahead and trigger Rusty effect and then they try to chain Valor, they could just dodge the Valor by chaining droplets. Go ahead, Fusion Destiny. Dump the bricks. Go ahead, bring out the DPE. DPE, go ahead and try to poke into the Shizuku. Go ahead, Ray effect to bring yourself out. DPE effect right here. They're trying to play around, I guess, them bringing out another Link monster and not being able to get its effects. Go ahead, pop the Rusty and the Ray, but this is going to play hard into the Nibiru. Yep, so now DP won't just be floating around in its graveyard via its own effect, unfortunately. I guess they popped the Rusty because they don't want to play into a Shark Cannon, is what I was trying to... I was watching this match live, actually, on the Nishon McNubb's live stream, and we were trying to debate on why he would decide to pop Rusty, and we came to the conclusion that he didn't want to play into a top deck a Shark Cannon, because he already played around the Widow Anchor. Goes ahead and turn, passes, top decks into a Dasher. Go ahead and the main phase, Nibiru just go ahead and poke. Then multi-roll effect, send the Nibiru, then engage. Go ahead, add Ray. Draws into a TC Boo. Okay, that's a really big draw right there. Chains draw and Lockbird, so cuts him off from a Shizuku search. Go ahead, normal summon out Ray. Go ahead, Ray into Kagari, then Pog Blade on the Kagari so they can't recycle back the engage. Goes ahead, multi-roll effect, set the Widow Anchor, and pass his turn. Top decks into a Living Fossil. Go ahead, set Living Fossil. Celestial effect. Banish Dasher in itself. Draws into a Droplets and a Pog Blade. Ooh, really could have used some extenders right there. Goes ahead, sets them both, and passes. Turns the Kagari into the no, not Shizuku, the Hayate. Pog Blade falls off. Hayate, go ahead and poke. Go ahead, dump Widow Anchor. Go ahead, turn Hayate into the Kagari. Pog Blade, the Kagari. So they've been through all three Kagari so far. Go ahead, turns the Kagari into a Shizuku. Go ahead, Shizuku, end phase effect. Go ahead, add Shark Cannon. Go ahead, activate Shark Cannon right away to bait out a Pog Blade. Go ahead, Monster Reborn's the Boots. Multi-roll effect, go ahead, set back the Shark Cannon. Pass his turn, top decks into a Boots. Wow, these draws have not been that fortunate for this Phantom Knight player, but he's also playing 50 cards though, which makes it harder to top deck into something decent. You're gonna TC Boo on that. Yeah, this Boots was special summon from hand, so it won't be banished. The other one is vulnerable to being banished when it would leave the field. Go ahead, Boots effect, search out a Pog Blade. Top decks into a Afterburner. That's going to be a pretty good top deck. Go ahead, get rid of Boots and then out a Pog Blade or two for interruption. Only outs one, but go ahead, multi-roll effect. And get rid of their own TC Boo. Turn the Shizuku into the Ayate. Hayate to try to poke. Go ahead, dumps the Shark Cannon, Afterburner, pop the boots, pop the droplet, then multi-roll effects. So Striker trying to really keep control of this game. Sets the Shark Cannon and top decks into a Talents, passes. Goes ahead and Hayate poke. Hayate, go ahead and dump the Rose. Go ahead, set Ancient Cloak, pass. Hayate, go ahead and try to poke. Pog Blade, the Hayate. Go ahead, multi-roll effects. Go ahead, target the Shark Cannon, chain Shark Cannon. Go ahead, target the Rusty. Go ahead, Fusion Destiny now. Go ahead, dump the bricks. Bring out the DPE. Go ahead, set the Prosperity. End phase DPE effect. Go to pop the Prosperity and the Living Fossil. Pass, top decks into a Shade Brigandine. Go ahead, droplets, send the Ancient Cloak for cost. Chain TC Boo. Chain DPE. DPE Graveyard effects. Then Shark Cannon, the Cloak. Pog Blade, Chain, special summon out the Cloak. Talents to draw. See if this can draw him into an extender. Draws into a Kagemuchi. This has been a pretty long game one. Yep, they're just gonna admit defeat there. That was 22 minutes long, so already halfway through their normal time rules. Since it's a 40-minute time rounds. Looks like, okay, so he's gonna decide to make the Sky Striker player go first. So going to take the bet that they're gonna go ahead and prematurely side for going second. But now we're gonna go ahead and see game 2 now. Hornet Drones, Effect Veiler, Rose, TC Boo, and Lancia. So really strong hand traps and a floodgate against the Phantom Knight deck. And Phantom Knights we have DDR, Lightning Storm, E-Telly, Ancient Cloak, and Droplet. So sees 2 going second cards. Pretty decent, pretty decent. Go ahead, Hornet Drones. Bring out the Kagari effect. Go ahead, add back the Hornet Drones. Normal summon out the Rose. Turn those into the Verte Anaconda. Hornet Drones. Bring out another token. Go ahead, turn those into the Shizuku. Verte Anaconda effect. Go ahead, dump the Destiny Fusion package. Turn those into the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Sets the TC Boo, End Phase, Shizuku effect. Go ahead, add the Engage. Pass. So ends on. He's going to pop his own Verte Anaconda. Then DP Graveyard effect. So ends with a very high impact hand trap against Phantom Knights. And then there can be only one. Certain hands it does mess up Phantom Knights if they open up all warriors, and especially if since he runs the Kagemuchi Knight as extenders. So let's go ahead and see how this will play out. Top decks into a boots. So this was exactly what I just was referring to. Go ahead, Lightning Storm, hit the back row. Then Ancient Cloak. Go ahead, special summon out boots. Go ahead, turn those into the Cherubini, Destroy Phoenix Enforcer effect. Go ahead and chain E-Telly. They know that they have their read on. Remember, I think I stated this earlier in one of my other Dueling Book replay videos where I mentioned how you can chain E-Telly to Cherubini effect if they just try to go ahead and pop it on summon. And that way, while the chain link is still resolving, you can go ahead and send the E-Telly to go ahead and protect the Cherubini since it hasn't been sent to the graveyard yet because the chain link is still resolving. So definitely, for you guys who are enthusiasts like me, something you guys might want to know about. Go ahead and then chain droplets as well to go ahead and negate the DPE. And go ahead, Cherubini. Oh, but on resolution, they're going to go ahead and activate Lancia before they can trigger any Fam Knight names in graveyard. Go ahead, dump the Torn Scales. Go ahead, turns the Wielder and the Shirobini into the Verte Anaconda. Verte Anaconda effect, go to pay 2k. Dump the Fusion Destiny package, turn those into a Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Go ahead, Destroy Phoenix Enforcer attack into the Shizuku. Then end phase pass. Does top decks into a Widow Anchor. DPE effect. Then he's going to chain his own DP, popping his own Verte and the Enforcer. So that's fair because he's playing around the engage, getting a plus an extra draw, basically making it to where he's not getting the pot of greed effect of engage because he's playing around a possible top deck Widow Anchor by doing this, so that way he can't get another spell into graveyard, so he can get the pot of greed effect of engage. That's a really big brain play, not gonna lie. It's like 300 IQ play right there. I mean, it worked. He doesn't have anything to Widow Anchor right now. Then Celestial draw effect. Go ahead, top decks into the, or draws into rather, the Pot of Prosperity and Veiler. And they can't use Pot of Prosperity because they already drew with the Celestial. I'm just going to go and poke for some damage, set the Prosperity as a bluff, pass turn, because that DPE comes out. Go ahead, Ancient Cloak effect. Go ahead, add Ragged Gloves. Then trigger Torn Skills effect in graveyard. Go ahead, normal summon out Ragged Gloves. And then on summon, they're going to go ahead and use Destroy Phoenix Enforcer effect, pop itself and the Torn Skills, DP Graveyard effect. Go ahead, Boots effect to add. We're going to add a wing. Go ahead, DDR. Go ahead, discard the wing. Go ahead, revive out the Ancient Cloak effect to boost the DP. Then go into a Break Sword. Then Gloves to boost the Break Sword by 1000 attack. And they're just going to admit defeat right there. Wow. That was it was looking bad for the Fam Knight player for a while there because of all the hand traps they opened up with. But also I was watching the live stream while this happened, and there's also like comments saying how he misplayed quite a bit into the game too. But I'm not a big striker player, so don't, quote me on that. But we're gonna go ahead and go into game 3 here. Opening hands are gonna be Celestial, Pot of Prosperity, Nibiru, Ghost Belt, and Shark Cannon. So it sees 2 hand traps, and this may or may not get him to Ray. And then Fam Knights open up with Torn Skills, double DD Crow, Cosmic Cyclone, and the triple Tactus Talents. So the Cosmic Cyclones are going to put in quite a bit of work because Sky Striker really relies on getting graveyard recursion through their spell cards, and Cosmic Cyclone just, banishes it so they can't get that graveyard recursion off of like Kagari. Go to banish 6. So those banishes were Dagda, Access Kotaker, Nightmare Unicorn, Kaina, Hayate, Shizuku. So on the Scythe Lock, goes ahead and mill 6. We are going to see them excavate Veiler, Sanctum, there can be only one, Veiler, Infinite Impermanence, and Ray. So does see Ray as the 6th card, pretty big. Go ahead, normal summon out Ray, turn that into the Shizuku effect. Go ahead, add engage. Go ahead, pass turn. Go ahead, normal summon out Torn Skills effect, discard wing. They discard. They top decked wings for cost, I believe. Or no, top decked wing for turn, sorry. Go ahead. Top Ancient Cloak. I clicked too fast, sorry guys. This is when my hand's starting to fall asleep. Ancient Cloak, go ahead, add back boots. Switch someone out the boots. Goes ahead, turn those into the Cherubini. Cherubini effect, mill for cost. Mill's a graph. Graph effect. And they're going to go ahead and change Shark Cannon and two graphs. This is like a DD Crow versus Ben 10 situation where when a card is like sent to like a location, has to stay in that location in order to meet its trigger effect. So just like how Drytron can tribute Ben 10, if you DD Crow the Ben 10 before it triggers on a new chain link, then it won't be able to trigger because it's not in the same location as it was originally. So now I won't be able to trigger graph. Go ahead, boots to try to search. Goes ahead, search out Pog Blade. Torn Skills effect to revive itself back. Turn the Torn Skills and the Cherubini into the Rusty Bardiche. Then Rusty Bardiche effect. Go ahead, set the Shade Brigandine. Send the boots. Then Wings to revive back the boots. Then Shade Brigandine, special summon itself out. Deciding not holding the nib pretty hard here lately, to be honest. I guess they're afraid of being punished by like DDR, revive back like Torn Skills, but even then, it's like your opponent probably runs that as like a 1-up. It's not something you run multiple, unless if this guy's deck list does run multiples of, but I don't know the deck list until it gets released. But it's not something that would be too like. It's something like out of the ordinary, I would say, that I put him on. But I'm wondering, like, what's their rationale for holding on to this nib for so long? Because he's already gone through quite a bit when he brought out the Rusty, because he sacked off his own Torn Skills. So wouldn't you see that as like a line of desperation? But that's just me, though. Go ahead, turn those into the Isolde effect to try to add. Go ahead, add Ragged Gloves for follow-up. Go ahead, dump the DDR, bring out the Renaud effect to try to add. You're going to add the DDR. Go ahead, turn the Renaud Isolde into the Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn, discard the gloves, send back the Shizuku. Go ahead and draws into a Lightning Storm. And trigger Ray here, chain DD Crow. Chain Ghost Spell. Chain DD Crow again. Not a hard once per turn, which is what is really insane about DD Crow. Then triple attack his talents to look at the hand. They're going to go ahead and chain Nib there. Well, not chain Nib, but admit defeat. Because let's say they do chain Nib, right? Well, then they're just going to get rid of Engage. But let's say they don't chain Nib. Well, then the opponent's just going to go ahead and get rid of Nib, and they're stuck playing with an Engaged, and they lost access to Array. This does add a Sky Striker card, but they're going to have to play through so many interruptions up until that point. So he just got a little bit greedy with holding out to the Nibiru for so long. He was maybe afraid of like a Talents, but like the Phantom Knight player had so much resources to do, even if he held out to that Nibiru, because he was always getting like had decent access to like maybe going for like a Verti Anaconda, but I feel like the Nib onto the Rusty definitely was the play. I guess you also want to play around Triple Tactics Talents as well, since he saw that in a previous game. But even so, granted, it would have been RNG what he would have drawn there. Well, we know he would have drawn the DDR and the Lightning Storm. So, oh no, wait, he added the DDR off of the no, wait, sorry, yeah, he added the DDR off of the Renaud effect. So I guess he got a little bit greedy with the Nibiru, especially when I pointed out what the Phantom player had set up in the graveyard. Like I said, I guess he got maybe scared of like him having some way to bring out the Phantom Knight monster, like through the DDR, like I previously mentioned. But that's going to be one hell of a game. We're going to see Kurt Cobain win, I think, the $700 in prizing. Really good. We saw Phantom Knights. You guys are in the know. Phantom Knights recently won the LCS 3v3. One of the players who won the 3v3 played Phantom Knights and won. And now, about 2 to 3 weeks later, we're going to see Phantom Knights win, like more so like a single elimination turn, not a single elimination tournament, but more like more common style of tournament where it's just 1v1s. So you're gonna see Phantom Knights win again. So looks like he might not be on the site block because I haven't really seen him go for it. I'll have to check back, but we're gonna go and see, wait and see for the deck list to be released. But yeah, so that is gonna be it for the video. Remember, if you guys go ahead and check out Dragon Rider Games tournament, go ahead and post a link to their site in the description below. And remember, go ahead and check out the July_TCG Discord server. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was quite long, but I felt like it was worth covering, especially when it's a highly competitive tournament like this. And yeah, see you guys later. Peace.